welcome you all to the HR Conclave 2022. Let's start this auspicious occasion with the national song.
वन्दे मातरम् वन्दे मातरम् सुजलां सुफलां मलयज शीतलां सस्यश्यामलां मातरम् वन्दे मातरम् शुभ्रजोत्स्ना पुलकितयामिनीं फुल्लकुसुमितद्रुमदलशोभिनीं सुहासिनीं सुमधुरभासिनीं सुखदां वरदां मातरं वन्दे मातरम् वन्दे मातरम्.
Thank you, Anuja and Swati. When you cannot change the direction, change the wind, adjust the sails. The mantra of post-pandemic. Success is no accident. It's hard work, perseverance, learning, sacrificing, and above all, loving what you do, for what you do, and of what you do. Guru Nanak Education Society, a beautiful tree which is a shelter for many aspiring students. A society which believes in Anekata Mein Ekta. A society which has two sub-branches, GNI and GNU, Guru Nanak Institutions and Guru Nanak University. It stands tall in Telangana by imparting value-based education to all. Without much ado, I would like to invite the Vice Chairman of Guru Nanak Institutions and the Chancellor of Guru a great optimist who believes that there is more than one path to the top of the mountain. And everything you do now is for your... Thank you, sir. It's my privilege to invite Dr. Jaskiran Ross, Director of University Institute of Commerce and Management, Guru Nanak University. Ma'am is the moderator for today's conclave. A strong woman knows she has strength enough for the journey, but a woman of strength knows it is in the journey where she will become strong. Thank you, ma'am. And now, for the man who, with his far-sightedness, has conceptualized this conclave 2022 for the essence. Mr. Vinay Chopra, sir. Director, Center for Campus Placement and Industrial Relations, Guru Nanak Group, under the able guide leadership of Vice Chairman and Managing Director, Vinay sir and his delegates have taken placements to new heights, wherein Guru Nanak Institution has proudly announced 1,600 plus placed students for the year 2022. A big round of applause. Life, a boat cannot sail without the help of a sailor. Similarly, for any institution, the support of human resources is very important. The motive behind today's conclave is to honor the untiring and untold efforts of the SR. They are the ones who had kept the company's revenue at par. With great reverie, I now take the privilege to welcome the frontline companies onto the stage. Dr. Dinesh Kumar Sir, Global Head HR DHL. Mr. Veerapati, Head Campus Recruitment ITC Infotech. Mr. Roop Kumar Raju Sir, Vice President Control S. Mr. Madan Mohan, Head Talent Acquisition App Association. Mr. Kritivasan, Senior Manager, University Hiring, Forward Chita. Mr. Sushant Kumar, University Relation, Campus Recruitment, Tata Technology. Mr. Prashant Sir, Managing Campus, Hiring High Tech, Ventra. Mr. Arvind Kumar, Head HR, Aerospace. Mr. Naveen Williams, Talent Acquisition Specialist, Lumen Technology. Now I call upon Mr. Vinay Chopra Sir to read the profile.
It was a journey which we started 2 months back when I had a discussion with executive officer, a very close friend of mine. And we were talking about how difficult it has been a year, which was filled with pandemic and post-pandemic. Again, the challenges are there. And we wanted to host a conclave. So with that idea, we started. And now, for recently, we have executed it. Thank you for all your help. So, without a further ado, I would like to welcome the people, all the dignitaries on the dais. And as a token of appreciation, we would like to present them with a bouquet. Sardar Gagandeep Singh Kohli sir, who is a visionary, who has led this institution since 2 decades, and now we are proudly announcing the Guru Nanak University as well, where we have a lot of courses. So thank you for sparing your valuable time. Our Honorable Managing Director, sir, he could not make it because he's not well. And all of you present here know him as a leader, as a person who has never left his team, may it be pandemic or no pandemic. He's a person who has led us from the front. Sir, if you are listening us, because there are live cameras also, so we really miss you. Thank you. A lady whom I have known on LinkedIn, a lady who is determined to succeed, a lady who has led her previous institutions to sky high, a lady who motivates. I cannot have more words for her because I can keep on speaking about her whole evening. Dr. Jaskiran Kaur, who has joined us as the Director for University of Management and Commerce. Thank you, ma'am. So as we had started that any ship cannot sail without a sailor, we at GNI and GNU cannot survive without these dignitaries. So may I take the honor of welcoming everyone. Their profiles are there. I cannot read them all because they are big people and I'm very small in front of them. Right. May I take the honor and privilege of welcoming Dr. Dinesh Kumar Murugesan, sir, Global Head from DSM. Who is listening to me from Mindtree, a person who came to us now from ITC Infotech, Mr. Virappaji. A person who has always held the institution is Mr. Roop Kumar Raju, sir, who is the Vice President of Conclave. Sir, we are honored to have you. A person who has been known to me as a person who has cleared all hurdles for talent acquisition, Mr. Madan Kumar Bandar. Thank you, sir. Thank you for taking your valuable time. A close family friend, a person whom I have seen since ages, a person who has tried to give the best to the freshers is Mr. Kritiwal from Virtue. A person again known to me through LinkedIn, but when we had started the discussion, we didn't know that we are going to land up here. He is a person who has really good knowledge because he speaks at a lot of fronts. We are honored to have him, Mr. Sushant from Tata Technologies. A close associate, a person who has been discussing his PhD thesis with me. We discuss a lot of R&D activities, a lot of research topics. Mr. Prashant from Hitachi Vantara. We are honored to have you. The person who does not need much of introduction, Mr. Arvind from Newcon Aerospace, a person who was with Kalyani, then also hired our students, now with Newcon also. He has been helping us. A person known to us from Virtusa, then moved to Lumen, a person who really, really wants to do good job for talent acquisition. All the freshers out there, he's the right person who would be hiring you. Mr. Naveen William from Lumen Technology. So we okay. So like every topic has a content book. GNI or GNU has its index, a person who is a visionary, as I spoke earlier. May I take the privilege and honor of welcoming our Vice Chairman and Chancellor of GNU onto the dais and address the meeting.
A very good afternoon to one and all. Yeah, I would like to welcome every individual that's to all. I know that go on invite helpful contact so that we can do and none of these things are happening. So we have you all with us together. Today. Very warm welcome to my faculty members. As mentioned by planned 2 months back. Entire program was planned that time. We have a big team with us. And I will not take much of your time because there are many things which are there. So I'd like to spend their time with you. So with this, I congratulate the team for planning this program, and which very nice.
you, sir. Thank you very much. Now it's time to start the discussion. I call upon the moderator, Dr. Jaskiran, to come and address. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. Give them all the best opportunities. You who have to make your child present in the campus to learn what he or she can grasp. I cannot promise until and unless your eyes are wide open, your brain is ready to accept what changes are going to see. You people are a generation who has faced COVID-19. We have not faced the way you have faced. We have sacrificed your college life. We have lived their college life.
Without taking WhatsApp, without taking any other Google Meet, and we have come out with the flying colors. But no doubt, I must admit by standing here that you are better intelligent than us. Because you have taken technology as your support. I don't know in which way, but learning has been with you. Now understand, our companies, they are working in a traditional way. They have set work profile to give you. They have set systems to give you. They come here, they look at all 90, 100, 200 or 300 students that have been passing out, presented to them with their skills, and only few, either single digit or a double digit, get selected. Can anybody tell me what is the reason? We are studying in the same classroom. We are also having the same faculties with you. We are having the same orientation. Everything is same and you are paying the same fee. Why there is a difference? Why? Number two, HR is also looking at the people. They also have a deadline. I am sure all on the dais will agree with me that when they come, they also want to have it quickly because they also have a lot of projects lined up, lot of work for all of you lined up. What they look at you. Why they select not all but only few. That is the reason you all are sitting there. I could really see right now also few of them are looking down on their WhatsApp or any social media. Please switch it off. Honestly, if you hear this discussion for an hour, mark my words, you'll remember me for your life. They don't come here to take you for your knowledge. Honestly, they come here to take you for your attitude. Every company, wherever you go, they give you a good training period. They train you what is the technology they need. They train you what output they want from you. Mother, I'm telling you, even my kid just got placed. And I know how much training they have gone through, what they are doing it. So I analyze this thing, that they are actually looking for an attitude. And this is being started in 2021, our business review, the same thing is also written, that they take you for an attitude of learning as a team member or your attitude towards positivity. I hope I can even vote here all my, dignitaries on the dais. Am I right, sir? Now you see, what is required in you? I Understand, when you enter any seminar hall or an auditorium, the effort is being put in to make you people stand somewhere. Best portion is what we want from you is just the best placements. And I think you are going to share your salaries with us. You have already paid your fees. But we want the best for you. Understand this particular thing. Now, in the next 3 minutes, I'll just read some data, which will be a base for our complete 1 hour discussion, which I discussed even with our honorable dignitaries also. That you know what exactly is happening in the world. When pandemic came, even before pandemic, there was a great resignation era. People started resigning. And you'll not believe, 20 million Americans left their job. And the process didn't stop in America. The trend spread into Western Europe and Asia and beyond. The reason was what? Pandemic taught us that we have a minimum requirements. We don't need too much. We can actually make our living by sitting at home also. We don't want undue pressure. But then who came in the pressure? The agents. The work didn't stop. People are not there. People are not ready to take challenges. How they will come? Still, if you remember or if you see the data, people are not ready to work, not ready to take a lot of challenges. Still, there are a lot of people who are not getting jobs. So where the problem is? In Harvard Review, they had done, this is a last review of July 2022, that you know they must be applying, maximum companies are applying AI as a tool to churn their CVs. Sometimes some kind of a quality is actually missed, which HR need to consider. So I'm putting certain points which the research has happened, and I would like that if I'm wrong, please quote me there, no problems at all. There are people who are ready to work. There are people who have that kind of aptitude to work, but may not be available in that pool, but may not be available at that particular keywords what HR is searching for. All portals, wherever the jobs are available, they look for a keywords. Whenever we look for our people, we put those keywords and try to search for them. In those, a big crowd, some qualities are being left out. So it is being humbly requested that few other points should be put in, few other keywords should also be searched in, so that the students can get it. Sometimes your education is not the criteria to get the job. Your skill is the criteria. By keeping in that mind, IBM has, actually stop considering a college degree. And even JP Morgan is also doing the same. If they are not going to take the college degree into consideration, can you please think what they are going to think of? They're going to think of what you did in COVID. Along with your studies, you did MOOCs, you did Coursera, you did other courses. They're looking at skills. So understand what is going to be pitching in mind. But in all this, what HR has thought of, we need to think about adults. There are certain things, day before yesterday, I saw our placement head was shouting at somebody in the corridor, and I realized that something is wrong. I asked her, Vinny, what's the problem? He said the students were not present while the training just started for them. Please understand, who is going to put in effort? Is it the campus or the HR? It is you people. You are not going to share your salaries with anybody. If you are not serious for, we cannot help you out. You need to understand, we can provide you the skills. In last 1 hour, I've been spending in press conference with all the HRs. I really appreciate when they said, we are not investing in any campus, we are actually investing in the future technologies. So I'm really humbled to hear that the way you people are thinking to nurture the students. The corporate is coming in front. Colleges are coming in front. Universities are coming in front. So what is lacking is all of you. The way I said good afternoon, in the second time, the zeal that you have, you should have the zeal that every time in the start, so that you understand. I won't take much of a time. There are certain things that I'll talk during the session only. With this, I'm really very happy indeed to say that this is the first ever endeavor of Guru Nanak University. And I'm very proud to tell you that this is going to be a landmark also and a life-changing event for all of you as well as for GNU also. Thank you so much. Thank you, ma'am. Now the panel discussion starts. Thank you, Brindy ma'am. I would like to talk to Dr. Dinesh in the starting. Sir, I would like that you know how was the pandemic era and what problem and challenges you faced at the time when all the recruitment
profession in India has never gone online. How you took it up, and because you look at all campus hirings, how you managed.
The first one is always the difficult, right? And then by the time I answer, the others are already thinking of their answers. But the questions are different, guys. I'll definitely answer your question, but before that, can I also give a message to your students? if you
Yes,
don't
sir,
mind? Very
please.
related to the question that you asked.
Yes, yes, please.
Hello, everybody. Looks like you have taken the feedback from ma'am quite seriously, because I see a lot of zeal in the way you said hello now. Good. So we are all charged up now. I also passed through the campus like you all, and I was also anxious about, and I'm talking about 2 decades ago, 20 years ago. And I passed about looking for a campus interview, and I was also thinking that I will get a good job. I thought that it was a great interview. In our days, we get more difficult to learn. I was looking for a job. In the interview, I was sitting with my own students, and the company came to the campus to hire us. And we were nervous, but at the same time, we were very comfortable because we were sitting with people that we already know, so we were chatting, talking with our turns came. And when the turns came, we came over. It was in my campus. And then I moved on from the first company that hired me and moved on to different place. There also I was sitting with people, but I was sitting with a set of students. The other candidates were called for the same too, as well others from other companies. So I did not know them again. I was nervous. Will I get the job? Will they get the job? I don't know their background. So I went through. It was a different kind of an interview. Then I grew up in my life, and then I was interviewing with my current organization for a leadership position. It was quite different because they invited to me. They didn't even invite me to their office. They invited to me to a hotel to interview me outside the office, because they were planning to hire me in a CHRO position and they were planning to fire the previous person, so it was a secret time. So that was a different experience. Now, why I'm telling such a long story is, tomorrow you all are going to go for an interview, right? All of you are planning to go for an interview, for a job interview. All of you want to go for interviews, right? Whom do you think is going to sit next to you? Robo is going to be sitting next to you. So, and that's the experience that the people are going to have. You are going to compete with robots. Whether you like it or not, automation is increasing, robotization is increasing, artificial intelligence is increasing. Whether the output is good, not good, it's a different message altogether. But you are going to compete with technology. And there is no way we can compete with technology and win. Technology only by embracing. Throughout the session, of course, my colleagues will talk about various skills and all that, but keep this in mind. You're going to compete with machines, and the only way you can win them is developing something called cognitive skills, thinking skills, analytical skills, and so on. And how do you develop those things is something that your curriculum will help you. More of reading will help you, but just keep this thought in your mind. I've kept it in my mind. Now, ma'am, I'm coming back to your question. In our company, especially, not even campus hires, even for lateral hires, we had a rule that at least one person in the leadership team should meet the candidate face to face before we hire them, irrespective of levels.
even if we hire freshers. And therefore, when the pandemic happened, the first challenge was we were not able to meet the candidates face to face. Now, why we had this rule that we have to meet candidates face to face is because, and even today after going through the virtual interviewing process, I'm telling you, in the virtual interview, like we said, you emphasized on attitude. And I'll be very honest. It is very, very difficult to gauge the real attitude of a person in a virtual interview. In the virtual interview, we are able to check their skills, we are able to check their knowledge, we are able to validate their experience, their technical knowledge, functional knowledge, everything that is needed for the job to deliver the performance. But things like team working, do they have the right necessary stakeholder management skills? Do they have the right leadership skills that we can nurture? These skills are quite difficult for us to gauge. So that's the first challenge that we had. The second thing was people were really not used to virtual way of interviewing, both from the interviewer's point of view and the interviewee point of view. So people weren't prepared and technology was not really good. And sometimes technology goes down, the interviews don't happen. Earlier in physical interviews, people show up in the premise or don't show up in the premise. But in the virtual interviewing, we are always, very quite uncertain whether the interview is going to happen or not going to happen. So these are certain changes that brought in initially when it hit us. So how do we really assess the students? I mean, how do we really validate all the skills that we are looking for and so forth. But I think from that stage, we have come to the stage, we have also evolved as interviewers and we have, of course, developed on that.
I want to know exactly, suppose you have been interviewing students and you said there was one particular point that once they have to meet you physically also, there you were not able to meet. What was the result? Was there a difference between the quality that you hired or... because that is what is going to matter to them, that sitting online, still they need the same kind of a quality. But since they are much than us nowadays, they put something and we don't know, they know how to manage things. We are just kids in front of them. But still, when it comes to a company front, ultimately you have to deliver results. So how you face that particular challenge? Because somewhere your recruitment was being questioned.
Yes, initially we went through the challenge. Like I said, it is also very difficult to get the attention of the candidates, virtually. And that's my advice to them also. Because we are just going to go by how attentive and how relevant their answers to our questions are. Normally in a face-to-face interview, they look at, and you're able to, look at their body language, and you're also able to, get some of those unsaid messages.
Yes.
So the probability of getting selected are much higher.
Yes.
In a virtual environment, little bit of here and there. See, we all work for a company. Our loyalty is to the organization, and therefore we'll take the organization and reject the candidate.
Right.
I'm being extremely open and honest, but it might be hurting, but that's it.
So the last thing I want to know, that rebuilding opportunity, you have changed certain things, the way you were saying that even we have evolved. Could you just point one or two, give me that this is what the changes we have done?
Yeah, and I'm sure these people do a fantastic job because I also see teenagers in my home. They've learned the video conference technology like hell.
Yes.
So when I have a problem with my Zoom or Teams, I call my son and he does a fantastic job in fixing the bugs than me.
Understandable.
So they are today the only thing is they have all the resources. Technology, they're quick learners, they have access to, in our during our education days, we did not have this fantastic tool called Google, which used to give, which is giving every answer. So they have good research tools. They have good technology to enable WhatsApp, where they can, conference other people through video. So they have enough resources to practice. And I think the virtual way of hiring will also, maybe not in campus recruitments, but the virtual way of working and the virtual way of hiring is here to stay for some more time. So whether it is virtual hiring or face-to-face hiring, my request, suggestion, advice, everything to them will be, take it seriously. Pay attention. Be very focused on what the questions are. And try to answer to the point. And if you don't know the answer, have the courage to say, I don't know. There are several times I have hired people who boldly told me, I don't know this, rather than somebody who was trying to fumble and, give me answers which weren't correct. So that would be my, I mean, again, to repeat what I said, whether it is virtual or face-to-face, take it seriously, keep your focus on, feel confident, even to say you don't know something if you don't know something. If the interviewer doesn't give you a job still, then take my number from the office and call me.
Right. Thank you so much, Dinesh sir. That has been so clear in your message. I think everybody will appreciate. Great. My next question goes to, because we are running short of time, so I'll be in slightly fast forward mode. Mr. Raju, been with us for a long time. He knows Guru Nanak institutes as well as he can also support Guru Nanak University. So,
Hello. Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. Yeah, I think that's a good question that you have asked me, because during the pandemic, everything was online. My daughter is also studying in engineering second year, so I have seen her the way of learning when it is virtual. Because you are not attentive, there is no one to monitor you. Okay, you have your Zoom switched on or a team switched on, as well as your mobile also running parallelly along with the class. I asked a question to my daughter, what is that you're going to learn from this? Because you're chatting with your friends on the mobile as well as you're attending your class. So how much of the concepts are you going to grab? So she says that this is everyone doing. They're taking the lectures from the class. At the same time, they're all chatting, discussing what they have to do next. What will be the next class? So the attentiveness in the pandemic is totally zero. So whatever you learned in the pandemic, in the 2 years of pandemic, you need to revisit those particular topics once again. Because the way you learn online is different from the way you learn the brick and mortar model. Because we are all used to this brick and mortar model. We are not used to this learning. But when you come to a corporate, you focus more on the online mode or online training, because you need to complete some modules. You need to work on your, what you can say, your learning path, whatever is given to you. You need to complete certifications. At the end of each, what you can say, 6 months, you need to graduate in some of the technologies. So what you need to do is, unless you have your basics on a good foundation, you're not able to achieve the next level in the tech. So whatever you have learned before you go to your placement drives or before you go for interviews, please so that what you'll do, you will map to what has happened 2 years back to the current thing, because there is a lot back now. Okay, so whatever you learned may not be what you can say obsolete now, but there are a lot of changes which has happened to that particular technology. So because we are into cloud technologies, we hire people who are in AWS, we hire people who are in Azure, we hire people from Google, Alibaba, Oracle. So every day there is a change in the technology. The skill is upgrading, the technology is upgrading. So unless you go along with the wave, upskill yourself or reskill yourself, you will not be able to achieve what you are supposed to achieve. So
Yes.
as an organization, what I would look at is not a person who is 2 years back with the kind of knowledge or with the kind of information, but I would like someone to be updated to the current needs or the current technology. So that is what I feel that upskilling and reskilling is required for you all.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. I think you have made it very clear that you need to reskill, learn what you have done in last 2 years if that is not being done seriously, and upskill yourself. See, attitude and upskill. That is what the key words for today's this complete thing is going to be, and we'll keep watching what further we have in. I'll ask my next question to Mr. Naveen Williams. Talent acquisitions, how it is being there in your Lukeman Technologies. What kind of changes you make? I want to know if any training needs that have evolved in your organization.
Yes, especially in the pandemic,
Okay.
we wanted candidates were really adaptable because there was a perception
So
of
I
students. Yes, attitude is everything. Startup. And one more thing is that how adaptable they are. That's another skill that we look forward to because students are persistent on specific technologies. Like if it's AI, I'll work only in AI. If it's going enough to take up the role that the organization provides as well. If you look at the current market, SDEs, software developers, especially Java, are required more. So if someone
That means if they are doing it in one technology, so that core area knowledge may not be sufficient sometimes.
no, not necessarily. For example, I'll just give an example. Let us say a candidate is really good in Java. Okay, he's strong with his Java. And down the line, we want the candidate to move to .NET. He already has the knowledge in one object-oriented programming language. We want him to move to another. We train, upskilling and cross-skilling will always be there.
The company also takes this onus on themselves that if students come in one technology and then other technologies they need and you are going to partner into that.
Definitely, it's a very important challenge that we look forward. A lot of the students mention it in their resume, but when it comes to real time, that's where that specific skill has always been questioned. So, adaptability is one thing. So, and when they adaptability is one thing, and when they join us, resilience is something that we look forward to the students. So, these are all soft. Whatever I'm mentioning is along with attitude, adaptability, resilience. These are some of the skills that we look for along with the traditional coding methods. And in terms of training for this batch, we have brought all the students in person to our office. This is the first batch.
How do you take it in pandemic time?
That's correct, for 2022. So for two batches they joined virtually. And there's always been a difference in the quality of training in the organization as well as done virtually and then in person.
But I think that, Dinesh sir has also said, it is good to be there for some time, still online. And few companies have already announced, that even Nagaro and so many other companies I keep hearing, they have done permanently work from home. So that kind of attitude is going to prevail.
That will always be there. I'll just give you one example. So recently we invited about 50 campus recruits this year.
Okay.
We wanted to make them as comfortable as possible. So we gave them a 14-day accommodation, a 5-star hotel, and the meals will be free for them. They can leave early, like instead of 9 to 6, it was 10 to 4 the training. So much that they're still not happy because their peers were working from home. So that's one comparison. So we had to, the reason why we wanted to bring them in is that to improve the quality of the training. And we also noticed that campus to corporate is not easy. Like from school to college is another thing, but college to work is completely different. I wanted to give them the best experience, them regular interactions with their mentors, so that they will be able to develop quickly. So that was one of our intentions for this year. Yeah, both. For this training, we have told them it will be a hybrid model. They can come to office once a week, like Wednesdays or Fridays based on their project. But during the training, they would be present in the office for entire 2 months.
This is working now. I'm not wrong. Good afternoon, everyone. Yes, ma'am. Definitely, there is a huge difference from the pre-pandemic and the post one. So when I say internship, definitely these guys are the most celebrated people in the organization and highly pampered also. Okay, so in our company especially, and we start. Definitely, Hitachi Vantara is the one we have representing. Yes, yes. So we start the internship program in such a way that they have leadership connect from day one, and each respective practices what they are into. So each teams meet them to the teams or wherever there is possibility. We are trying to implement it to start in-person connects as well from this year onwards for these interns, and there are separate leave policies which has been implemented for them in such a way that it helps them to focus on their exam schedules and cope up with their internship as well, which is very important for us. And along with that, we respect their innovation. We also understand that they bring in fresh ideas to the organization, and we have we also ensure that they are leading various projects in the organization. They get access to live projects. They have a mentor from day one in such a way that every intern, each intern is a kind of mentor. They have been mentored from the day one till they complete their internship. So earlier, till last year, we were going ahead with a 4 month internship. So from this year onwards, we want to extend the internship until they join as a.
So one question as a student, is internship paid?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, yes. It's a paid internship.
The student.
Internship.
Getting paid to be pampered, you're getting paid to be assigned a project, and you're getting paid. Even they are looking at your examination. I'm telling you, I've been heading a lot of institutions. Sorry, sir, but I didn't meet such an HR. My students have been requesting me कि साढ़े paper पहले ले लो, either change the dates. We are not getting any leave. There are a lot of pressure from students. I'm really happy, sir. A big round of applause for Hitachi.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prashanta, sir. That was really indeed a wonderful, way that you have been taking care of interns. And if interns are taken care of, they become passionate for the same company. So they get, internship get converted into permanent also?
Full-time, yeah.
Oh,
We offer
great.
them a full-time opportunity, and internship is an option for them to choose. And
Right.
we want all the colleges or the universities to ensure that they force the students to join the internship, because that helps a
That's-
lot. And from as and when they complete their journey of internship, they can be an FT employee, and day one they can start billing the college.
That's wonderful, sir. Thank you so much. And my next question to Mr. Madan Mohan, HR App Associates. Sir, training has been going on the way sir has said. Until now, we are hearing that how they are hiring. Any kind of special development that has started at that time, that post-pandemic and pre-pandemic, during pandemic, there were a lot of changes. Pre-pandemic things were fine. You were asking, they were coming to the campus and they coming to your company and doing it. How was the scenario during pandemic and after that in the development?
This is again one more interesting area to be watched on.
Okay.
Okay, like any other the department, the organization has been affected. Learning and development is one area which has been really, really challenging. Okay, so but yes, pandemic has I can say it's a mother of innovation right now. Okay.
Okay,
But
sir.
this has also forced many organizations
Yes.
to adopt, embrace, the new ways, methods of, the training.
And I think pandemic has said the people who are not ready to change, they have to close their shops.
I don't mean that.
No, see, I have to, because a lot of changes that time happened. A lot of companies change or adapt, they have to close down also. But I don't know that development need was being missed.
I don't say that, I don't agree to the point because
Okay.
most of the companies have adapted. Okay. It was hard way of learning it because I have no
Hard way.
exception to it because if you see earlier, train on, the videos or on digital was just an option, right?
Yes.
But these days, that's something which is, must. So what I'm going to say here is, virtual is going to stay for some more time, or maybe it's going to play a very, very crucial part. Okay. The second part that I want to emphasize is the way we provide experiences is going to be very, very key during this pandemic, worse than the pandemic, and for the next couple of years.
Yes.
Digitization or, was just upswing where companies were like, the really reluctant. But if you ask any person right now, any organization, I'm sure that everybody will agree here that they've been using the digital way of, the training the people. Okay.
Okay.
So this is going to continue. What it so like we definitely what we need to see here is earlier the training there was one content and then fit for all.
Fit for all.
Right? But now it is not going to be the same.
It's going to be
The
different.
pandemic has changed the mindsets of the people. A lot of
Yeah.
to cut short, learned and everything.
Like to ask one more question from my side also, that during pandemic, how hard was it to have a quality people, or you stopped hiring? Let's be very open, because there kind of I think layoff has happened, like our MD sir has also mentioned that even Google is doing. So I would like to know the real picture, because HR is something they have.
Scenario, especially in the pandemic, we went ahead and started hiring the people. We did the appraisals. We did everything. So that's what we did. But yes, we were also a little clueless. We don't know how it is going to be because a lot of questions came in. How is it going to work? People going to work from the home. What will happen? If the more number of people are not available or absent for various reasons. How are we going to cope up? So what are various things, that what is the kind of infrastructure that we need to provide to be, the resources for them to be productive, and will they really be able to adapt the things? So all these questions came in, but I think it was a time for us to reimagine, rethink, and we had to reframe the policies and a lot of other things that which we have still continued doing it. There is no end for it for that matter. So I think, as I said, that it is going to continue. So we still continue to do it, all these things.
Means that you have actually visualized, or I think shown us a real ideal picture of an HR.
Yes.
I hope all will agree on this thing, I'm really happy. See, we have been seeing, a lot of recruitment has gone down at that time I was at Chandigarh that time, and we have seen a lot of companies have reduced their recruitments. So, but I'm very happy to hear that the way things have been taken up in your company. I'm really glad to know that kind of a companies if we have, so I can say हमारे बच्चों का भविष्य secure है.
वो तो है. But one suggestion, I want to give it to all the students here, while I compliment everybody here. Attitude is the first thing, but there are 3 other areas which you guys need to really, start looking at it along with the attitude. That is definitely the adaptability. Next is agility. And yeah, I should say that it is like ease, so it is execution is more important, more than anything else. So I think this is something which you need to remember it and start practicing it.
Right. Thank you so much, sir. That was really great indeed. Wonderful points. I hope everybody has noted down also. Now, my next question goes to Vyapanji, ITC Infotech. ITC is into all kind of sectors, What were the challenges in talent acquisitions and what strategies you found that changed at that time? Because same strategies, I'm very sure by listening to all, has not worked. One size doesn't fit all. So how you changed it at ITC?
Okay, so you want me to talk on a lateral hiring perspective, or you want me to talk on a campus hiring perspective?
Sir, I would like what you think right for the student to know.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, you will be coming here to take the students, so you should know your perception.
So if you ask me, campus hiring, pre-pandemic, pandemic, post-pandemic, nothing has changed. Lateral, there is a lot of changes. Okay. In campus hiring, the constant quest that we are all looking for is the curiosity that is there in the candidates. The reason why any organization goes and hires from campus is 2 things. One, to have a tighter control on the margin of the organization, because they come at a lower salaries when compared to the lateral. That is the primary reason. Okay, that's a fundamental business reason for which we come and pick n number of candidates from campuses. The second thing is the curiosity and the creativity that is lying with the freshers, which is wanting, which every organization wants to get that into their organization. I can tell you that, to give an example, if you go and ask a kid who is, or if you just go and talk to a kid who is 3 to 6 years old, they will ask n number of questions. Okay, but what has happened, I still remember my kindergarten teacher gesture, which means that, stop asking question, just follow instructions. And unfortunately, this is what the British wanted. They wanted an education system where people are not allowed to question, but we have got independence for the last 75 years, and the tech world has moved so fast that we are still following an education model which is producing identical people, but coming to the organization, we want more diverse people, we want more creativity that is coming out of it. The creativity is on one side is killed because of education, because of whatever. There is no denial about it. But on the other side, we want people with creativity, we want people with curiosity, that is not there. So as an institution, the prime responsibility is not, because there is no offense to what you spoke in the beginning of this discussion, but what I could gather from your, address that you gave to the students is that, you have to do this, you have to learn this, but on the inside, they already are 2 steps ahead of us. And what we have to realize is that, see, if I go to a classroom, 60 minutes of teaching is happening. Whether 60 minutes of learning is happening, no one is bothered.
Agree, 100%.
Okay? So what we have to understand is that how do I ensure that that 60 minutes of learning is happening? The entire concept of teaching has to move to the entire concept of facilitation. Wherein, hey, here is a candidate, he knows this much, he needs, so it is an era of customization. Gone is the era of generalization. If he's generalizing that, hey, this is a problem, everybody solves this problem. There are few kids who have solved much complex problem than that. These guys will go off.
Yes, I'm telling you right now also in the hackathon and solving those situations.
Basic contention that the fundamental ability of education, right from the storage, knowing is what differentiates us from the age. So what we have to inculcate is create curiosity in whatever you do. Okay? And that has to get, that flair has to come in the execution.
So for that reason, we always, tell students to go ahead with entrepreneurship also. We give them that kind of a platform also.
Yeah.
All doesn't go for placements, they opt for their startups also.
See, again, what time back is that, we are prescribing. Are we following that? Okay, for example, if I as a lecturer goes and delivers a session, the best of the best lectures are available at their hand, fingertips from the.
Perfectly, agree 100%. Yes.
So that is what has to change. The candidate should think that, hey, tomorrow if I go to the class, my faculty is going to give me something which is not available to me over the internet. Okay? So that is what we have to create. Unless we create that, we'll keep on telling that you have to do this, you have to do this, but they are much more smarter. We did one survey. I want to kind of tell you here that we did a survey with the candidates because I was referring one of research candidate in human resources. So he said he was working on the fresher supply chain. Can you go and do a survey on the final year kids who are placed?
Okay.
The question was, what is the percentage of contribution of the teaching process? What is the percentage of contribution of the institute in your placement? Stark reality, 20% of the candidates only feel that the institute and the teaching process helped them in placement. 80% of the candidates said that it is because of my effort.
That's wonderful.
Okay. So what is the fundamental problem that we're going to solve is that am I during the entire process? See, university setup is there. We cannot bypass the university setup. Kind of go do saying that, hey, you are free for the 4 years. Here is your laptop. Here is your funding. Do whatever you want. See, by doing that, we are creating headless chickens in the institution.
See, I understand that's a plight also, that we have to make them through with the system.
So we, as an institution, have to show them the direction.
Yes.
Because that direction is important. All you need is direction. You don't need anything. So ensure that your curriculum, your faculty, your methodology is giving the students the right direction, and that direction is to be customized. You cannot put one highway and ask everybody to run in that highway.
So that's a problem. See, if you have a 6 student in class and the time is 55 minutes to teach that particular topic, and we have to cover that, we have lesson plan, we have deadline to meet, end semester, mid-semester, lot of things are there in that particular journey. That kind of a flavor is missed. I understand.
Yeah, that is where when, Sir G.S. Singh sir was, kind of speaking in the morning, this flexibility is now available because you're in university.
Yes.
So get into a curriculum where instead of 6 theory classes, make 5 theory classes and, 3 practical.
Yes. If you remember, in that MD sir has already announced that last semester will be given to the industry people how they want, what kind of a product they want, we'll be shaping them as per their requirement. So we are trying our level best, but yes, still from teacher to become a facilitator, it's a very long journey. We are starting right now. I hope we cross in that stipulated period, but still that serendipity we have to.
Absolutely with you, but the thing is that, the rate of change of technology is such that today's technology is tomorrow's obsolescence. And if you keep saying that, long way, then the students are, as I told you, they are 2 steps ahead of us.
Yes,
so we'll have to catch up to them.
I too do agree that they are much smarter than us, and we need to be better equipped when we go to the class, because they have Google Baba with them, they have YouTube lectures with them, they have all the access to the better than us.
Sir was pointing out that there is a separate building technology incubation center.
Yes, sir.
So I would like to urge that, keep that open 24/7.
It is open, sir.
And then ensure that, people, for example, you can let go of one theory class and say, hey guys, there is a mandate that you'll have to do one project in this center.
Yes.
We are here to provide whatever support that is required. Please go ahead. And we are all here to kind of support you, because from a resource that is required, from a help that is required, I think Kriti, Prashant, Dinesh, we are all here to kind of help you in that direction.
That's so wonderful. I want all of you to give them a big round of applause. When when industry walks for you 2 steps, I hope all of you can walk 10 steps. Am I right? Still very slow. Right. Now I'll come to you, sir. Thank you so much. It is indeed wonderful. Kritivasan sir, you have heard everybody. Questions are twisted and turned for all of them so that my students can understand. I want that, is there anything still left that we have not covered in talks, what post-pandemic we need to learn? Because pandemic of this COVID is there, then this monkey fever is coming, there's X and Y and Z. I think now we all are mentally ready. We have heard a lot that this kind of things are going to happen. And blended way of teaching is going to be in future. The journey that, we should have a same kind of smarter interns and products to give you. What should we do? And how was your journey during this pandemic?
My journey during this pandemic has been beyond roller coaster ride personally. So I have gone to the extent which probably people would not have dreamt of. I've been there, seeing that I've come back. So that's what I would say. So literally I've gone to a stage where I've just shaken hands. I said, okay, it's still not the time. I'll go back and I'll come later. So that's how my journey has been during the pandemic. And I've seen many people who have, for a simple illness as well, they have actually lost many things. But only one thing is that I feel happy and I feel privileged, or rather I should say I'm blessed, because I had the prayers of people because of whom I'm here today. The other thing that I've been seeing with the current generation, if there is one thing that I would really want to tell them, is more from, please don't rush. That's the most important thing. One thing that I've been seeing today is very evident. They rush. They want everything very fast, instant. Instant gratification is good, but then there is a certain point beyond which you shouldn't be going. Don't expect, if you get an offer today, go with that company, spend at least 2 to 3 years, and then you see, okay, now what have I gained? And then move on to the next one. What we see today is people, if I get an offer today, I've got a 5 lakh offer. If I can able to crack 5 lakh offer, there is a company who's coming tomorrow to give me a 6 lakh package. I'll go sit. So the minute you sit for a 6 lakh package, that means you will never be satisfied in life. You will never be satisfied.
But in this, if at the same level, suppose one company is offering them X amount, another is offering X square. So the student at this particular age, for them, they measure their skills, the salary they get. And I think at freshers' age, salary is the only yardstick that they, show off on that I got this package.
I'll give you a classic example.
Yes, sir.
Last week. So we recently concluded our idea competition with a grand finale.
Okay.
So we asked the team to set up stalls and we asked them to display what they have done. So the previous night, one of the team was bargaining with me.
Okay.
It was around almost 12 a.m. and one of the team was bargaining with me, saying that, sir, please understand, I have to build a house. I have a sister to get married. I have so many other things that I have to do. Your salary, what you are offering is just not enough for me. Okay. And I said, see, I can only give you a career. If you want money, please walk over. I can give you a career, which I will ensure the future, you will double, triple, whatever it is. But then today, if you are about money, you are talking to the wrong person. But the best part was, the guys who are from a tier 2 college, okay, let me tell you, the guys who are from tier 2 college, I did not even realize that they will make it to the grand finale. They
made it.
Dinner.
Oh, wonderful.
And they did not even negotiate anything. They said, I have got an opportunity, I want to come and I want to show you. And these guys, on the contrary, they were bargaining the previous night. I'm not satisfied, I'm not satisfied. On the other side, if you really want to see live example of how people have grown when you don't really look at money, but rather an experience, I feel privileged to introduce Naveen here.
Oh, wonderful, great. Yeah.
Naveen started as an intern.
Okay.
And, we worked together. Naveen was doing his internship at Rochida, and then he joined Rochida as a full-time employee. He was stayed with us for 3 years, and then he moved to Lumen. In just 4 years, he got employed.
Wonderful, and so he's sitting at par with you. Wonderful.
So really, how far you can go if you keep aside your money, okay, and just concentrate on the career.
So career versus money, that's a choice with all of you. You all have to make out. Now you have all heard everybody. If you have questions, please get up. And I'll just give 5 minutes to all of you and I'll take 1 minute out of that. And I have one problem to share with all the HRs. You know, I have faced a lot of problems when student goes to the company. Do you have any onboarding experts? My question to you, sir. Onboarding expert. Because when they go from a university, and what happened 2 days back when when I was shouting, I could make out that there is a problem in onboarding somewhere. Do you feel in that way?
Yes, so, thanks. I do feel, so what happens with organization is your onboarding is not automated, okay? So you have people running that system, okay? And what happens with that probably there's still, because the onboarding team is not the team who was initially interacting with the campus. We have we as a campus team who was front facing the students.
Yes.
Day one.
Yes.
I come today and I have the people, they know me, they're very comfortable with me, and they talk to me and I can resolve the issue.
But every time you are not available, you hire, so many people.
That's what I'm saying. So what happens when it goes to the onboarding team, their expectation sometimes is very different. Like, I'll give you a recent example. We had an onboarding, this is the second batch we onboarded for last year, just 3 days back, and I could not address the batch because I was traveling for a lot of sessions. So one candidate who did not join the batch out of the 150 lot, 2 days later he came back and he wrote a mail to the onboarding team, and of course my email is also in that. So stating I was ill, I could not join, and can I join from today?
Okay.
With all my documents and all. I said, look.
Maybe he must be waiting for something else and that didn't click. Am I right?
There are a lot of things. Even one guy, he said he'll join, he got offer from TCS, and then, but now he wanted to join to us. Can we give him a kind of delayed joining altogether, all sort of problems? But then I was very clear, and I said, hey, look, you got the opportunity, but you didn't join. Now there could not be any altered situation here. You can come back in the next batch, not in this batch. So that was a real time example and thing. So with the onboarding, what happens? Every organization, I believe, we are trying to improve the seamless onboarding for all the students, so that we are also measuring our performance every batch on batch. We have an NPS score to evaluate that, and every NPS we try to improve. Like when I joined Tata Technologies, our NPS was standing somewhere around close to 7.4. Now last batch we did was 9.1. So we try to take employee experiences through the entire journey, onboarding processes and all, and we see that they get a seamless hiring.
I think the way Hitachi people, they do the allocate a mentor.
Yeah,
right. But
what I do basically for my organization, the first point of contact, the first session with all the leadership is being taken care. The first session is taken care by the TA team, so that the TA sets the expectations of the candidate very right, and from the day one itself, they are very clear about everything. They don't go somebody to next and say that this was missing or something. Directly addresses the
just sending a mail and giving them all the process, that's all.
So I am someone, I believe most of the other HR firms will be, so I believe, for myself, if you ask me, I'm 24/7 on LinkedIn. So people who want to connect me anytime, any question they have, they write it to me on LinkedIn. 12 o'clock night also, I can show you, people have asked me tomorrow is my onboarding, this question. I do not say, yeah, you go and talk to my team, you go and talk to my team. If I am available, I'll answer them there.
So that's great. A big round of applause. See, if you want to have a good staff or good people, you have to nurture them with just a care. That is what I feel. Results will come anywhere. You just have to look after your, employees, and they'll make your company. I truly believe that in that. Right. So my question to you is that, this is a question you all need to hear because someday you have passed COVID batch. Do you label somebody as a COVID batch? Please, I have heard it from a lot of places, so this is my open question. After this, everybody can answer or anyone can answer. Do you ever label that? Because there is some kind of a difference between COVID and pre-COVID. Post-COVID, I won't say.
It's a very tricky question you asked me. You all know the fact, but we as a HR fraternity, it was on our shoulder. How is that we need to bridge the gap? It was a COVID batch, but at the same time...
So it is called COVID batch. It is called COVID batch.
Even screens, we went back to mobile phones for education. So you know better how it went. Yeah, I wouldn't say a COVID batch, but yes, it taught us life is not this easy. It's full of uncertainties and we need to rise to the occasion. That's how it went. And again, come back to us as a HR front. There was a large and huge demand for workforce once we were about to close, or we're still in pandemic, but yes, once we are coming back to normal, we found a lot of requirements coming up, but at the same time there was a lot of skill gap. At the same time, parents were worried about students, and the students were worried about how they perform there, because somewhere down the line I also tagged myself as COVID batch.
Oh, wonderful!
Yeah.
The COVID batch.
To the students and also sold this idea to the government, and we have brought this project, and the idea what we sell them back is we want to fill this gap by giving the opportunity to the students to work on this national product. Reason because there is a lot of gap in the education today. At least they are walking into the facility, they get a feel that yes, there's a lot more to contribute apart from getting educated on small mobile screens. So that helped us work a lot, and we were very fortunate that we have completed the project in 2 months. We hired most of the interns from Guru Nanak Institute.
Wonderful.
And there was a lot of encouragement from Telangana government.
Okay.
Even task was associated with us. We were very fortunate that we have got a management where it's open to think and modulate according to the industry requirement. So students, you're very lucky that you have management wherein they are open to change the curriculum also, such that you are future ready for the organization. It is not just coming into the college, submitting your projects, and completing your exams. This complete, conclave by saying from a HR fraternity, when you get an admission in the college, that day itself you should self that you're an engineer. You should take your assignments in such a way that you're working these assignments as a real project, and this assignment will help you grow in your future, in your career. For a fresher, the question what we generally ask is talk something on your project. And we all know how the project works. Yeah. So thank you for giving opportunity.
This was the wonderful answer, sir. And to sum up all these things, I may miss out on something or I may repeat also. The way sir has said, when you take an admission in any of the streams, take your assignments like your projects. Honestly, halfway through you will go. And you all need to be flexible. You all need to be very particular, nurture, upskill, reskill yourself. And lot of companies are giving you assigned mentors also. They are looking forward to have you on board by looking after the way he's saying that even I answered at midnight also. That is wonderful. If HR becomes so cooperative, I think onboarding will never be a problem. There's only one thing that I really feel that, career versus money. Still, I don't know whether we'll be able to justify to your question, sir, or not. But when it comes to, a career at entry level, I don't know whether students understand or not, but this is one point. We'll have next session soon on this particular thing, that career should be nurtured. In first kind of, when you enter into a company with a name and a technology, right? Don't look at money, because money will follow once you have that career, whatever it required, those skills in you. I hope with that, now I open the session for all the students to ask the question. Please raise the hand and mic will come to you. First of all, speak your name and the batch you are in from, and then ask your question. And if you want to address any of the speaker, feel free to take up the name. If they don't take up the name, any one of you can answer, right? Thank you.
Good evening. Hello. My name is Nitya, and I'm pursuing my undergraduation from the specialization IoT under the computer science engineering stream. So, since I'm a fresher right now and I want to see the wide variety courses which the market gives me, so when I look into it, I get the Internet of Specialization as a separate course. I get full stack development, and if I want to specialize in the front end or the back end, I have multiple options. Or either I can get into the artificial intelligence and machine learning. I have wide varieties. So I don't get to. I get confused when I want to select something. So I have this particular question. So since there are very options, what exactly and how? Where exactly is this IT industry heading towards? And that's my question to you. Thank you.
I think, Kritivasan sir, you can answer this. You are into technology and you answered, I think, similar kind of a thing in your address also.
The first thing is try to be a human. That is more important. Okay. You have a lot of options, you have a lot of varieties, and you have a lot of disturbances as well. Okay. Today, that's the most important part. Now, you get distracted. The distraction is in your pocket right now or in your hand right now. Okay, so you get a lot of opportunities, and at the same time, when you have a lot of options to select, okay, you try to select which way you look at. See, this is where the industry is leading to. Yes, that is where. But the fact is, for all those things, there is something called foundation and fundamental. Now, today, what we see is people lack those foundation and fundamentals. Okay. There are people who come and talk about, I'm doing BTech in AML, I'm doing BTech in data science, I'm doing BTech in blockchain, metaverse, whatever it is. You talk about the most buzzword what's happening today. But what is required there to get there is something that people lack. So if you talk about whatever the course, so even before you get into the specialization, you're talking about computer science or electronics and communication, right? So are you strong in those basics? If you're strong in those basics, then whatever you're trying to do, you're further upskilling in terms of where you want to place yourself, it will become much easier for you. First, try to get your base and core foundation strong enough. That's the most important part today. You should know, it's a simple question. question. Do you remember, if you're in your final year, do you remember what you studied in your first year? I'm not even asking about the chapter names. I'm asking about the books. If you have 5 subjects, without second thoughts, can you quickly tell me what are those 5 subjects that you studied in first year? No. The answer is no. Nobody knows. But
I would like to add, sorry, I didn't get your name. Sorry, I forgot your name. Nitya. Okay, thanks, Nitya. That's a, honestly, first clap for her because it's a beautiful question. She represented all of you because you also, the moment when you heard this question, you must also be thinking, hey, I also had this question, but I didn't had that, to ask or probably think. This is really so pointed out clearly because this is the confusion which is there with everyone. But let me tell you that always is a perception that you'll have to go with the market. For example, sales, you go talk to the salespeople, they'll say, hey, go with strategy. Like, what you have to understand is that this confusion, whether it is self-induced or it is induced by others to onto you, that is what you'll have to separate. Okay.
So there is a word or phrase for your question which is cut through the noise, which means that whether it is noise self-induced or it is induced by others, that is when you start differentiating. And the way that you differentiate is because what Kriti said. Say, hey, okay, I am an AI student, but fundamentally, am I knowing whatever fundamentals that it takes to go to the next level of AI? Now, I tend to interview probably Kriti, and I have been in this campus recruitment field for the last 2 decades, and I have interviewed many people. They will put in a resume saying that, what knowledge or area of interest, whatever is there, if you search in Google, all this latest technology, they would have copy pasted onto the resume. But when I ask them, hey, can you tell me how you can explain an artificial intelligence to a layman who doesn't know anything about technology, they fail to understand. That is because the fundamentals are not. See, we go one level above just to, kind of live the jargon, right? But you come one level below, whether I'm confident in this level, then you can go to the level, then your ability to conceptualize this, your ability to take ahead to the next stage will improve. Otherwise, you may say, okay, I've done an artificial intelligence project, but if you get into the details, you will fail because fundamentally you are not strong. And that is where you will have to, but this confusion will be there. Because as you also told that the technology, as I told in my beginning, the rate of change of technology is so high that today Java is there 5 years down the line, whether Java will be completely replaced by something else, we don't know. Right? We all lived, when I passed out, I was writing COBOL and Fortran, but if I say I know COBOL expert, then I don't have any job right now. People with computer science degrees are going jobless and heading to their homes to play computer games. That is the era that we are living in. Because they lack fundamentals. When you're strong in fundamentals, there are a lot of options, and the technology world is growing, changing. You will have one of the opportunities. So for that, as he rightly pointed out, fundamentals is one thing that you have to learn in the institute, and then go ahead and ask for more in centers like the Technology Business Incubation Center. The clubs you can form within your institution. There is a coding club. There is a every institution where I go, there is a cultural club, but there is no coding club. There is no embedded club. Nothing, because we fail to see that. Great.
So we have, even in GMU, in management, we don't have all marketing clubs.
Then that's the right.
We have the Center of Excellence on coding and code optimization done by Professor Salai.
Exactly. That is great. I mean, when I was in Master of Technology from National Institute of Engineering, I used to go only to one professor class, TS Srinivasav, because you write a program in 10 lines code, you go to class to write the same code in 2 lines. Okay, so I think you are in the right direction. Happy to know that. And
we are trying to, for example, the prime number program, we are trying to teach the students to think 2 to 3 times different ways.
So that varied approach is what and definitely you're right. So the confusion, Nitya, is that you have to sit and understand, is this confusion because there is so much noise around? There is no much around, or is this because that I have too many varied interests? I don't know where to go. That time, one thing which is important is go to the mentors. As Sushant was pointing out, today, because of internet, the mentoring has so become personalized that we are only failing to see the opportunity. You connect to Kriti, you connect to Dinesh, or you connect to Sushant or me. I have been mentoring every year at least 6-7 people closely who voluntarily write to me on LinkedIn saying that, hey, I want to be in a network, I am college student of this, student of this college, and I would want to get mentored. So what I will do is that my personal circle, wherein from a technology standpoint, I connect to them. So you go ahead, show that voluntary effort in terms of, aspiring to where to go. I think that will avoid this confusion and you will be clear as to what you want to achieve.
That's really great. Yes, please.
We spoke about areas of interest. So recently I came across a classic candidate. One of the panels showed me this CV. This guy wanted to get into AI and his CV had this section called areas of interest. And you can think of anything that can be written in areas of interest, but this candidate, a classic candidate, wrote Chennai, Coimbatore, Bangalore. These are my areas of interest. And I have taken a photocopy of it and I have kept it in my WhatsApp. It's like, this is the weirdest that it can go. That's nice. But that's not.
See, he mentioned Coimbatore. Accenture just opened up a center in Coimbatore.
Okay, okay, the reason why I said weirdest is because the guy could not even write his college name proper in that CV. And he wants to get into AI.
But one thing best, I would like all the students to hear that there are 9 mentors sitting on the stage with your choice of mentors also. Honestly, in our times, this was not available, sir. I think that is the reason we have still followed the traditional way, trying to connect with them. But this is something I really am I thankful to all of you and that you all spare time and yeah, please. This all is for you. I think now I should be sitting quiet and all of you want to share anything, please do that.
You can make the number 9 as 19 because I will get 10 other people from my company to get.
Great. So I think we'll have now next round of HR round and next time what I'll do is we should have 4 people so that we can talk much.
But the 10% is already we can't
Done.
I just wanted to give because the question on what choice do I make, I think it's a very valid question because today there are so many options.
Yes.
And I'm just trying to answer the question in a very simple, generic way. Yeah? You all go to restaurants and hotels?
Yes.
Any decent restaurant or hotel has a menu which has not less than 100 items? Right? Veg, non-veg, in veg also, paneer, sabji, potato, mushroom, in non-veg, you have chicken, mutton, fish, prawns, and all that. Why you never get confused there on what to order and eat? You're able to make a correlation because there you're sure this is what I want. First, there is a difference between what your heart tells you and what your mind tells you. Your heart tells you, and you also tell you, dil chahta hai, man bolta hai, man lagta hai main khao. So let me have chicken today. So you go there and then you look at chili chicken. And then the chili chicken is, let's say, 200 rupees. Your mind tells you, hey, you don't have 200 rupees. Right? Then you say, okay, chicken majestic, 150. Then you land up eating some egg omelette or something for 50 bucks. Right? Mind and heart. The decision is clear. Now what happens is first the mind, you have to be very clear. It's going to give you logical reasoning. First listen to your heart. It's very important. Most of us don't listen to our heart. Like we have so many technologies, I'm not a technology specialist, so I said I'll give a generic answer. You have, he said embedded or programming or database. First you have to decide what is that I want to do. Listen to your heart. Do I want to become a programmer? Do I want to become an app developer? Do I want to become a database administrator? Or do I want to become a data engineer? Whatever. You know those options better than me. First decide that. That's what your heart tells you. And then try and understand. Like you said, you have the help of Google Baba today. You browse on any technologies, you can gather details. Then see whether you have the capability to understand the technology. Whether it is really inspiring, whether it is really giving interest. Then use your mind to logically reason it. Like I said, first decide whether you want to have chicken, mutton, or whatever. There are so many.
I'll tell you how you can measure your success story, or probably after a few years. Uh, so you need to decide, as he was saying, you need to follow your passion. Okay, that's really important for you. So it's not that something is people are getting higher packages in that domain. You need to rush behind that. Then everybody, mechanical and civil, will also start running towards that. Who will construct this building then? So you have to understand what was the reason you took your engineering at the beginning of your career, and do you really want to do that? Maybe after 4 years, people do realize that maybe, and who knows, after engineering also you don't want to become a developer. You want to become a content writer, or you want to become a content creator. You want to become a YouTuber. There are a lot of opportunities lying out there. So don't just think that, always have ki, this is my passion, because if you're doing something which is getting higher compensation but you're not liking, somewhere or the other day you will leave that. Okay? True. So start with something which you're really very passionate. Ultimately, you will get the success. Okay? So that's the gist about it. Okay?
Thank you, sir. Thank you. That was very indeed.
Hello, ma'am, sir. I'm Rajneesh Kumar from Cyber Security. I want to ask how the hiring process has changed post-pandemic, keeping in view reasoning, aptitude, and verbal part.
Reasoning, aptitude, and verbal part. Who would like to answer? Those who are taking this test. Yeah,
Rajni,
Veerapan, sir.
nothing has changed. It's the same thing. Okay, but only thing is the cutoffs have increased.
Because you all have become more intelligent now.
So the cutoffs earlier, when we, I mean, you know that during pandemic, every organization wanted more people. Now you know that from the market, the numbers have been slowed down because of whatever reasons. So what we will usually do is, if I had previous year 50% cutoff, I'll move it to 60%. That is what is going to change. So which means that you'll have to put more effort to kind of cut through the noise. I think that is what I would say.
Yes.
And one more thing which is post-pandemic, which is the organization has added, is most of the organizations have added this communication skills as a testing platform. So that is one thing that you'll have to improvise, if at all, if you kind of think that there is an improvement needed for you. And the other thing is that the learning orientation during the training, there is this learning orientation which is kind of being assessed, whether, because we know that today you go to one project and that project gets ramped down for some reason, tomorrow you'll have to
the internet bandwidth, what, and now we don't see people. I mean, even when we sit with them, we tell them ask questions. They don't ask anything. So we find it difficult to make them open up and talk. That's one of the very big thing that has changed, and we are again trying to cut that. We're trying to tell people that, hey, you should start speaking first. Only if you speak, you will be able to get your questions clarified. You will get to know what you want to know. In fact, one thing that I have changed for Virtusa is we have stopped doing the typical way of doing pre-placement talk. So we don't use the decks anymore. What we do is we get onto the stage and we hold the mic and we tell the session is open, you can ask questions. You ask what you want to know, we will tell you. We are not going to tell you what we have to offer you. So that you will, end of the day, when you go back, you'll be satisfied because each one of you will have a question, you will ask, we will answer. Rather than me showing some 1,000 slides and 2-3 videos, all those things, will that really matter to you? No. What matters to you is what comes on your account on the 30th, right? So this is one thing that has changed, and we really want people to come and speak.
And in terms of the assessments that you wanted to know, just as Veerapaji said, each company has its own. And a lot of companies have actually removed the aptitude part. They have kept it completely technical. So I recruit for information security engineers. So if you get an opportunity to practice your verbal communication skills through assessment, that will really help you before the assessment.
All right, any other question? Yes, please.
Good afternoon to all. I'm Aditi. I'm studying from first year CSE. So as my friend Nitya asked, there are a choice of technologies going on, but what I experience choice of environment. Like at my house, my aunt is a HR too, so her company is remotely work from home. My brother is in Google, so his timings are not flexible, and my another brother is a freelancer. So I've seen 3 different environments going in my house, and me, I am having the skills too. I'm really confused, like will the company give flexibility or shall I go through freelancing? So the choice of environment is also being a question to me.
I think she has a blend of every technology, and she has seen the practical. Yes, please. Anyone who would like to answer from this side?
I mean, again, I'll give you an example. So my father is a government employee. He does not work. So you know how government employee works, right? So, it is being recorded. So, I mean, the work culture, it's very flexible and he does not have to rush too long. I mean, 9-to-5 job. I mean, that's what government people are known for.
Yeah.
Not high-paid salary.
Yeah.
They're known for the comfort, flexibility, and job security. So I could see my father being a government job. I had my brother who works in technology. Okay, he's into cloud computing, he's a cloud architect. Okay, and he works with US customers and all, and he's working in the night shift because he works for HCL America. Okay, now I'm the one who is into HR, and I travel 20 days a week. Okay, so now you can see I have the same situation what you're having. Okay, but it's about me, what I want to do. I have decided that, right? So if you have decided what is that you want to do, probably you can learn everything from each one. Somebody is doing a freelancer. Of course, there could be something which you can learn from him. Your brother is doing in Google, so he has a different. He was passionate to do that. That's why he's still working with Google day and night. Okay, but the other brother was not that passionate. He wanted to do something of his own, so he wanted to do freelancing. So understand from your insight or passion that what is there you are good at. Okay, if you are able to find out that what you are really good at, you will be able to, even if that is not a high paying salary also, you will be very happy at the end of the day or at the end of the month. That okay, the work I am doing, I'm really happy about that. Many people who start acting, you see, they really struggle. But why do they do? Not even recognized. You see, a lot of actors who started their career, they're not even paid well. People do not recognize them, right?
Yeah.
But then they started and they stick to it. Okay, so you should always have a plan. You stick to a plan, keep practicing, and ultimately you will follow the success for you. Okay.
So it's extending it in a span of like 3 to 5 years, but I'll be moving out of the college. Can I expect flexibility in big companies too? Like my interest is in big companies. Obviously, everyone wants to get placed in the MNCs. So flexibility in terms of timings or in terms of work environment.
Every company I'll tell you on the gas production, every company is now going hybrid.
Yes.
I don't see a culture in any company. Even we are calling our employees from October onwards, work from office is getting started, but it will be a hybrid model. Only 2 days you need to come to office. So that flexibility is नहीं चाहिए. Apart from that, there are other flexibility like in terms of movement inside the organization. You want to move into a different team. You want to learn new technologies and move into a different team. Apart from that, there are also a lot of, in various organizations, a lot of schemes are there. Like in Tata, I can tell you we have a scheme called, we have a body called Tata Administrative Services, okay, who's similar to IAS. If anybody wants to go and write that exam, go into TAB, it's more of a leadership role. You regularly, after 4 or 5 years, they send you to IIMs for highest position, and then you land up to a VP or director level role. So every organization does that has leadership ladder structure as well. So that flexibility also you get timing flexibility also, and of course other benefits that the company has their own way to do.
But I think these kind of perks are there now. I think they have started realizing the work-life balance and the mental health is being looked after very well. I think to sum up all these things, company has actually changed. I'll say every company has evolved through and has become, very positive towards looking at the employees. Am I right? Which was not there when we started working. So nowadays, I think mental health plus the perks and working hybrid has become a normal routine with all. Can I take this as a good keyword for all the students? Thank you so much. Thank you.
I would like to add one.
Yeah, please.
For her question, there is a syndrome which is currently there with the freshers. There is a syndrome of high aspiration, low capability. That's a dangerous combination to have. You aspire to go to Google, but when you sit down and, hey, can I code a particular program? No. So one is that we'll have to be clear, high aspiration should come with high capability. That is one thing. Second thing, as Sushant was pointing out, my question. There is something called as, in our organization, we don't call it as a work-life balance. We call it as work-life harmony. Okay, it is not balance. We don't create imbalance and then try to create a balance. No. We will not say, hey, come to office, work for 12 hours. That is creating imbalance. And then, in this side, you will say, this is a presentation on work-life balance. No. What we create is work-life harmony, right? How do I create a work-life harmony? For example, you are interested in Java, but you have been put in .NET. Imbalance. You are interested in some other technology, but you are giving, it happens with majority of the freshers. Possibly because the 70% of freshers are being hired by IT services, and that is where staff augmentation is the biggest challenge. Even the organization don't know whether I will have a project here, but they will hire you people saying that, hey, you come to the training, this is the training, this is that time's availability we'll have to push. So as freshers, we'll have to be a little, patient, at least for the first 2 years, to get to know where you want to go. This is with 70% of the people who get into the IT services. There are these people who, secure 10 lakh plus, offers because you are going into a particular product company and, being hired for a particular technology where you are excelled in that. So that there's a natural progression. But for 70% of the people, this is a, induced progression which happens across the organization. So you'll have to be patient. Okay, and then ensure, build up the skill set, and then aspire for more. I think that is where the balance is. So there is no balance. We make it as harmony. So in our organization, when I hire people, I will hire them and do an assessment and find out, hey, this person is good in that. 80% of the time, I try to place that candidate in that particular project so that one, retention is there. Two, it's like you go watch a movie, and if you like the movie, you will go 100 times. But if you don't like it, even it is marketed like the hell, by investing so much, you will not like it. It's as simple as that. That is what we are doing in our organization, wherein we will try to align your capabilities to the requirements so that harmony builds. And when that harmony is built, people will not complain about. I have seen people who have been liking Java, I have put them in Java, given them training, given them opportunity, they have no complaints because they wanted to learn and they are learning. They are working 12 hours, 16 hours without any complaints.
Thank you.
My name is I'm from CSE department. So my small doubt, sir. Being your HR, do you want to 90% student are
Okay. Okay, let me tell you, this is boils down to money at the end of the day for an organization. If I want 100 people, okay, I'll go to one institution, put a higher cutoff and take it. For example, companies who want 10,000, 20,000 people, what they do is that they will put this percentage is only to kind of move our entire costing model to a more beneficial and a cost-effective model. There is no doubt, you are right saying that there might be a candidate who has just passed 35%, but might be a brilliant candidate. But for me, to hire these many people, the organization will ask me for a certainty. The chances of selecting 100 people between 60% and above is more higher than the chances of selecting the same 100 people from 35% and above. Because the pool who has been between 35% to 60% is the additional pool that I will have to test. And the conversion ratio there is naturally lesser. If you give an assessment to people who are 60% and above 100 people, to people who are 35% to 60% 100 people, in the 60% and above category, say 60 people clear, in the 35 to 60, only 30 people clear. So which means that I have to invest more cost on this, and this is a cost efficient model. So there is no denial, and I am completely with you when you say that, so the organizations are fixing percentage not with the perception that, okay, somebody who is less than 60 is not good. With the perception that will have to be cost effective. That's the fundamental people.
I will try to answer your question in a different way. When I was young, my father asked me a question when he was planning to get me married. He said, do you want to get married to a rich wife, or do you want to get married to an intelligent wife? I said, I want to get married to a beautiful wife. Yeah. Coming to, you said, do you want to hire a person who's got 90% or somebody who's knowledgeable? When do you get to display your knowledge? In the interview.
So you have told that in a class 60 minutes we are not learning 60 minutes time, sir. So that is the reason we cannot restrict a person below 75 is knowledge person.
I fully agree. So, but that's what I'm saying. So you have to, there are knowledgeable people, but not all knowledgeable people score marks, and therefore not knowledgeable people need to get a chance. I agree with you. Now, again, I'm coming back to the question. When do you get to display your knowledge? Will it be in the interview? That is when you get to speak to the person, and that's when you also gauge your knowledge, your attitude, and all of that. Now, what will get you your seat in the interview? Now, we come to this college, there are thousands of people. We cannot interview all thousands, right? So we should have some mechanism to filter and select some people for the interview. Now, you tell me, is there something better than your marks for us to select you all?
No, sir.
No, right? And that's the reason. So we have to use a logical mechanism to filter people who can come for the interview. And that's why several companies put a condition on the mark. Some companies say that 70%, some companies say 60%. And fortunately for you, lucky thing, as the demand is increasing, every company that I know is only lowering the marks. Like TCS, the company that I work for, when I was there, we said 70% is the cutoff. Then we said 60, 50. Now we are saying, just pass, please come. Yeah? But that doesn't mean that you don't score marks at all. As a student, what is the only expectation from your parents or teachers or employees that you have? What is the only deliverable? Your exams and marks, right?
Yes, sir.
So please concentrate on that also, because there will be companies which will still use, and especially large companies hiring large numbers will use mark as a filtering criteria. So you have to get minimum marks to get qualified for the interview. Once you get to the interview, you show all the knowledge. And if you are on the interview table, how many interviews people ask you what is your score? No. They only talk to you about the project, they talk to you about yourself, and then based on your knowledge and attitude, will select you.
Yes, sir. That is the main reason we are running behind the percentages. So instead of gaining the knowledge, maybe if the both get equal, you may get many good participants for you also, no,
Who is
sir.
stopping you from running behind both?
Because instead of we are running behind the packages and we are running behind the percentages, we are forgetting to gain knowledge. So we are behaving like a bookworms to study what is there in the book and gaining only percentages. So that is the reason, sir, maybe knowledgeable people.
A very broad-minded answer. There are several resources that are available outside the college also for you. Where there is a will, there is a way. So if you want to learn, you can learn. There is also a proverb in English, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. Yeah? And there are enough teachers on the internet. Yeah? So please find a solution and get the knowledge. Yeah?
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for that.
Outside, if I'll catch me, I'll tell you more.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
And if you have less than 60%, please let me know. I can create an exception for you and hire. Because at least you have that, a gut and ability to kind of ask those very genuine question. Thanks for it.
He's trying to bargain. Both, right? Yeah. So I think that was quite an interesting discussion. Conclave, and let's come to an end. A lot of points that absolutely ability, what's fundamental, what's happening about enjoyment. Yes, we see a component in the pay packages called as entertainment allowance. And a lot of companies are doing that because they want the students to enjoy their stay with the company and stick for a longer period of time. So time comes where I would really like to thank all the dignitaries on the dais, off the dais, because this session is going up live. So there are a lot of people who have joined in from the corporate side. So thank you so much for joining our YouTube link. I thank all the members who contributed for the success of this conclave. My team, thank you, all the HODs, everybody, the press people, and above all, the students. Thank you so much. Thank you. So it comes down to us felicitating all our guests on the dais. So can I request VC sir and just Kiran ma'am?
Mr. Dinesh Kumar sir. This is the time for felicitation. It was an amazing, amazing conclave. Mr. Veerapati sir. Mr. Rup Kumar sir. Mr. Madhamohan sir. Mr. Kritivasan sir. Mr. Sushant sir. Mr. Prashant sir. Mr. Arvind, sir. Mr. Naveen, sir. Mrs. Gautami, ma'am.
Gitanjali, please.